The rules of addition and computing probabilities consider whether or not events are mutually exclusive. If we wish to determine the probability that events A or B will occur, we need to know if these events are mutually exclusive. If they are, then the probability of A or B is simply the sum. You add up the probability of A plus the probability of B. That's the special rule of addition. The general rule of addition, if A and B are not mutually exclusive, as illustrated on the Venn diagram on the bottom here, where there is an intersection between events A and B, then the probability of A or B is computed by adding the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. Here's an example of mutually exclusive events. An automatic Shaw machine fills plastic bags with vegetables, and on the table here you can see it says the weight, if it's underweight, satisfactory, or overweight. It says the number of packages, the event, and the probability of occurrence. So the total number of packages that they checked were 4,000. And remember that the probability of occurrence, all three of these probabilities need to add up to equal 1. So we're trying to find what is the probability that a particular package will be either underweight or overweight. So it's the probability of A or C. So we're going to find the probability of A, add it to the probability of C, and get our total value, 0.10, or there's a 10% probability that a particular package will either be overweight or underweight. This example uses the general rule of addition. It says, what's the probability that a card chosen at random from a standard deck of cards will be either a king or a heart? So the probability of getting a king is 4 out of 52, a heart is 13 out of 52, and a king of hearts, right, the probability of A and B is 1 out of 52. So then we simply go back to the equation that we've been given. The probability of A or B equals the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. So we do 4 out of 52 plus 13 out of 52 minus 1 out of 52 equals 16/52, or out of 52, or 0.3077. So 30.77% probability that a card chosen at random will be either a king or a heart. Next is the complement rule. It's used to determine a probability by subtracting the probability of the event not occurring from 1. So the probability of A equals 1 minus the probability of not A. So here's an example using the complement rule, using the same problem we did before. The probability of B equals 1 minus the probability of not B. So not B would be A or C. And since A or C and C are both mutually exclusive, we add those up. So A is 0.025, C is 0.075, 1 minus 0.1 is 0.9%. So 90% of those bags with the vegetables are a satisfactory weight, and that's using the complement rule.